Hello, it's Friday, July 18th, 2025. Welcome to our channel once again. We appreciate each and every one of you for coming. You are the salt of the earth, and you're what makes the world go round and round and round. As I remove these silly glasses, but they're great for the computer. What you're looking at on my desk is a picture of President Zelensky with his pants on backwards. Now, this picture keeps reappearing and with Mertz, the cocaine user. So here's Zelensky with his pants on backwards. This is who Trump is negotiating with. A man who has his zipper down and his pants on backwards. The guy's an incompetent boob, and Trump is trying to negotiate with him. Putin's given up. He says he's wearing his pants on backwards. He's hanging out with a cocaine user, head of German prime minister. There's no sense. He just makes no sense. He's just crazy. Anyway, now what could possibly go wrong with the Democratic Party as Trump moves forward? What could possibly go wrong, Democrats? Anyway, a little bit about Silver and Gold, our advertiser. An advertiser I advertise for, whether they pay our nonprofit or not, I believe in it that much. Since I started investing, long before I got involved in this politics mess, long before I've been fighting veterans battles, won the Agent Orange case, won a case which put 100,000 veterans off the streets because Social Security refused to give disability to those coming back from the Gulf in the Army Reserve and the National Guard. We won that case. They got off the streets. So long before I got involved in politics, I bought silver. And it's doubled. And I would like to say that in 20 years, my silver investment has gone up 7% a year consistently. Well, it kind of goes like this. So in the last 20 years, I've made an average of 7%. It's doubled. In 20 years, has your 401k doubled? Has it averaged 7% a year? In gold, since I got involved, has tripled in value. I don't know what percentage that is. 7 into 72 means that if you're at 7%, your investment doubles every 10 years. 7 into 72. It's called the rule of 72. If you aren't getting at least 7% return every year consistently, you are not even keeping up with inflation. Because since the Federal Reserve System started in 1913, it set a core inflation rate of doubling everything every 10 years. That's a 7% inflation. Sure, there were years when it was flat as a rock, but then there were years when it spiked. So since 1913, everything has doubled in price every 10 years. And so if you haven't consistently received a 7%, and now it's much higher, it's about 20% inflation. Trump just said that there is no inflation. I beg your pardon, there is for, not on gasoline, maybe not on housing, but on food, it's skyrocketed. Everything else is skyrocketed. Besides, core inflation does include housing, transportation, and food. Transportation is skyrocketed. You can't work on your own car. You got to take it to the dealership. $500 to replace a battery and change the oil because they have to reset the computer. Try taking it to your local mechanic. They don't have the systems to reset the computer system. So inflation is at 20%. And until the federal government stops dictating what kinds of cars are to be made, that core inflation will continue to skyrocket because of transportation costs. If the feds would just get out of transportation, things would be much better. The Department of Transportation never should be. The Corps of Engineers should have done its job and maintained the roads and forced the states to fix the roads. Now we got big holes in the freeway on I-90. We got metal showing through on I-90 right out of Seattle because the state can't do it and the feds won't. So many regulations. I asked them why they rebuilt the Nisqually Bridge at $3 trillion. They said, because we have to spend so much money in each district. I said, but if this district needs all the repairing, why are you spending it here? Because we have to do it, because the federal government tells them what to do. Say, how? Anyway, on to the news. Let's see if I can get this up. Let's turn this off. This is yesterday's number 2 video, if you notice. This is a roll call in the Senate. We'll try to hold it up a little bit better for you. A roll call in the Senate. There's nobody in the Senate, yet they're doing a roll call. There is no Senate. There is no Congress. They were dissolved right before Trump left office. Biden was a total disaster. He finally admitted, I didn't sign any of the pardons. It wasn't me. I don't remember signing anything. He's on national television. His double with a mask was ordered to say, I signed nothing. Well, Biden did sign nothing because he died before he was put in office. That's why they had two different inaugurations. One at the White House with they actually took a picture at the White House, halls of Congress, and they actually superimposed some steps into it, and then there was another inauguration somewhere else. There is no presidency, there is no Congress. We have a man in the White House who's taking orders from the CEO who has said, let's stabilize America, but you're not going to release the Epstein list. It was a deal Trump brokered. Let's see. Put the child rapists in jail, the child murderers in jail, and let the economy collapse, or save America for 4 years and put that on the sidelines. What a deal, right? I'd have pulled out a gun and shot him. But then I'm a little more radical. I want America to be saved, and I want these perverts to go away. But anyway, so Biden finally admitted it. And Project Veritas, a gal, called a Secret Service agent. They were doing a little hoochie-coochie funning on the phone, and he told her all about where the president is, and he's doing goofy things and stupid things, and invited her out on a day, and he was going to show her the White House, meet Mr. Macho Man and the Secret Service, all on tape. Thank you, Project Veritas. You caught the Secret Service, and you wonder why the Secret Service is so easily corruptible? You need to terminate the Secret Service and go back to the military protecting the president. They're loyal, not the Secret Service, who bend over and take it up the rear. There's a lot of in this list of men who don't worship Lucifer. Those are the ones you need protect, armed with machine guns. Those are the ones you need protecting the president. The Secret Service can't even protect the monetary supply. They're that perverted. And Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal. Apparently the Wall Street Journal said that Trump wrote a letter to Epstein and drew out a naked woman and said, ha, 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 we all have something in common. Well, all this stuff about Trump being on the list, of the Epstein list, has been perpetrated by the MSM, the mainstream media. Now, the Wall Street Journal used to be a really thick journal. It used to carry a lot of news. About half of it was true, about half of it a lie. I was a paper boy. I read the newspapers. Now, it's just this little, don't even have enough on a Wall Street Journal to use for one good toilet paper wiping. It's horrible. And it claims its circulation goes up and up and up. No, it doesn't. It sends out the newspapers, but they're never sold. Nobody reads the Wall Street Journal anymore. So the Wall Street Journal they got a presence on the internet. They lie a lot. I got in trouble by repeating a Wall Street Journal story. There were 3 stories about somebody who died, and I figured it was in the Wall Street Journal. They must have confirmed it. A person called me and said I ain't dead. So, of course, I had to get permission from YouTube, and I pulled the video. But good grief, Wall Street Journal lies more than a Democratic 5-year-old or a teacher. Anyway, and I say that because, remember, military background, they refused to allow me into Evergreen State College to become teacher certified, even though I taught high school for a year and had a 3.9 GPA. Because I was a white male military person. At least they told me the truth. Some really fat woman sitting behind a desk told me the truth. And I thanked her. I said, at least you're telling me the truth. I guess I'll scrap teaching because I'm a white male with a military background. I'll always be a white male with a military background. So the Wall Street Journal is lots of lies. And a House bill passes, which looks like it's going to pass in the Senate. Look, there's nobody in the frickin' Senate. Of course it's going to pass. Probably another 50. They're doing a frickin' roll call. And there ain't nobody there. They're laughing and giggling and talking during a roll call. There wasn't a roll call. Look, see for yourself. Go to William Mount number 2. I'll play that video. There's nobody in the Senate chambers as they do the roll call. Motion to discharge the Committee on Appropriations and Budget of H.R. 4, the Rescissions Act of 2025. Roll call vote. Yay 50, nay 50. Unofficial tally? Yeah, there's nobody there. You know, there was a bill to pass in Congress once, and Abraham Lincoln said, all in favor? All opposing this bill, and about 95% of Congress raised their hand. And Lincoln said, all in favor of this bill, and 3 congressmen raised their hand. And he took the gavel and he said, bill passes. That's what happens in our Congress. Granted, he was a part of the New World Order. He demanded the states seceding from the Union had begun before Lincoln took office. Anyway, so the House bill passes to eliminate NPR and PBS, $1.1 billion of your taxpayers. Every year, you, the American worker, pays $11 to support NPR and PBS. You pay another $100 to build these cell towers and support television. Television is 100% taxpayer funded. $500 billion this year to build these cell towers out of your paycheck. That means every worker in America, $500 billion, pays $5,000 a year to build cell towers so you can have a television set and be brainwashed. I know, I was on TV, I watched them brainwash people. I tried to stop it, but who am I? Just a broadcaster. I can't control what a TV station does. I was lucky to get on to broadcast, even though it was public television. Lucky. Anyway, well, not lucky, God. And the Federal Reserve Chairman apparently lied about the construction of the Federal Reserve System building. The Federal Reserve System runs the Federal Reserve banks. And Powell said the cost of the rebuilding of the building was $2.5 billion to Congress, and he lied about it, about a $500 million overrun. So Trump has referred that to the Department of Justice for prosecution for perjury to Congress. Now, of course, Congress owns the American Baseball League, so when the LA Dodgers supported the illegal aliens, that money came out of Congress. When these baseball teams support illegal aliens, the money comes out of Congress. You pay for it because Congress owns the American Basketball League, the American Baseball League, and a whole bunch of sports arenas to keep you busy on the idiot box while they take your money away and screw your country. Well, now they're not there. So this is all being done by a few people who run Congress. Who do they work for? Of course, the CIA. Now, where did modern liberalism come from? In 1848, Karl Marx, living off his relatives and Masons, fellow Masons, Satan worshippers. Now, if you're a Mason, don't take offense. If you're a low-level Mason, you have no idea that your leaders do rituals. You have no idea that your leaders worship Lucifer and hate you. A lot of them wear a ruby ring and claim all the demons are in the ruby ring. I have a Masonic sword. As the Duke of St. Petersburg, I have the right to it. But I bought it. I was going to use it for Civil War reenacting, but I'm afraid that the Chief Masons came against me as a Knight of Malta and as the Duke of St. Petersburg. So the whole organization is filtering down to nothing. Anyway, in 1848, Karl Marx he published the Communist Doctrine. And the Masons, Albert Pike, must have read it, and he said, he outlined WW1, WW2, and WW3. WW1 was to eliminate the Russian Empire because it was the richest, strongest empire in the world. In the middle of the WW1, Russia moved its gold to the United States under Chase Manhattan, and they haven't returned the gold yet. They owe Russia hundreds of billions of dollars. They're not going to pay it, and they're not going to go to jail because the president doesn't have the guts or wherewithal to make that corporation send the money back to Russia. I'd go in and smash heads and make them return the gold. But the gold is not there. Where did the gold go? They sold it and put it in their pockets. Now all the major banking systems, the Federal Reserve System, the Chinese Central Bank, Russian Central Bank, they're all buying gold like crazy. Chase Manhattan is. Their gold disappeared, but now they're buying it back. And if they're buying it back, why aren't you buying gold and silver? Gold and silver is the new world reserve currency. It's about to displace the dollar. Anyway, Albert Pike, so WW1 was to destroy the Russian royalty, create a godless communist society where the government owns everything and the state is your god. WW2 was orchestrated, according to Albert Pike, to eliminate the royalty of Europe, because much of the royalty followed God. They must kill those following God. These are the Masons. They must kill those following the real God. They must destroy the Jews. They must destroy the King of Kings and Lord of Lords worship. They must just kill Christians. And that's what WW2 is about. Now, WW3 is the pitting of the Muslims against the Christians and Jews. And that's happening in this country as we import 350 million black Muslims from Africa. Go to Milwaukee, it's all Muslim. Go to New York City, they have a Muslim running for office. It's illegal to import a Muslim into America because they want to overturn the government. Yet the FBI uses UPS planes and flies them in by the tens of thousands in cargo planes. Have they stopped? No. And as long as the Muslims get their $8,000 a month as a refugee, $8,000 a month. I have two friends who have relatives getting $8,000 a month, and neither of their parents live in the United States. One of them keeps the money and buys a big house. The other one is a very filthy rich attorney, and he sent the money over to his parents in New Delhi. So they're getting $16,000 a month. As long as that refugee pay continues, they'll be peaceful. Now the reason they wear the hoodies, is because it's a sign of subjugation. So the women will wear the hoodies. That's why the blacks wear the hoodies. Every felon's considered a slave. 1871 Virginia Supreme Court, after the incorporation of the United States. All felons are slaves. So they wear the hoodie. It's a form of subjugation. I wear the hat because I have bullous pemphigoid and it's broken out again because I ate 6 Advil a day, and apparently my body can't stand Advil, which is why I use joint support and sockeye salmon oil to kill the pain. It does better than Advil, and it doesn't stress my immune system out. But anyway, World War III is the Jews versus the Christians exhausting the world. We've read that letter a dozen times. Exhausting the world, killing as many people as they can, even here in America. Tim Waltz, Tampon Tim is part of that. That's why he killed the 3 senators. 2 of them are dead, the 3rd one's sick. He's all part of that intelligence community to destroy America. Tampon Tim was not elected. He was appointed by the Council of 5 for the state that he lives in. Because there's a Council of 5 in every state. That Council of 5 is appointed by the Council of 5 in Washington, D.C. It's in the Organic Constitution of 1871. That's why here in Washington, our capital moved from Cle Elum to Olympia. Cle Elum was where the governor lived. Olympia is where the corporate governor lives. That's why we have 2 constitutions, 1887 and 1889. The 1887 Constitution was scrapped, and we became a corporation, making the Supreme Court our gods. Congress doesn't exist. So here we are, right in the middle of the Muslims and the Christians ready to kill each other. And the Christians killing the Christians. The Muslims, the Satanists in America, are sending the Satanists in the Ukraine missiles. They're working with a man who wears his pants backwards with his zipper wide open. Zelensky. That's beyond insanity. That's just plain stupidity. The fact that we're negotiating with that man here is absolute freaking stupidity. Or that man there is using cocaine. The fact that we're negotiating with Germany, anything, slap a tariff on them. They charge us a 20% tariff. We charge them a 20% tariff. They won't import Chevys. We won't import VWs or Mercedes. It's that simple, tit for tat. And the world is up in arms because they're losing that money we've been freely sending around the world. It's gone. As Trump raises crypto to the roof, pay the debt off, bring crypto back down. But I can't get mine. Mine's locked up. Signed, sealed, and delivered by our illustrious FBI. They love stolen money. Especially when the president does nothing about it. God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.